On this computer. And welcome back to the Women on Amazon podcast. I'm here today with the delightful and inspiring Anna Davidson, who's on the call with me from the UK. How are you, Anna? Welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
It's so great to finally get you on the podcast. We've sort of been on a couple of things together, but once at the same time? And
Yeah.
so we're moving in similar circles these days from opposite ends of the world, right?
Yeah. We did the Branded by Women, didn't we, with Danny?
That's right. Yeah.
And then we had Megla interview us as well about our single mum power.
Single mums on Amazon. That's right. So for anybody who hasn't heard your story, I'm going to. You've got quite an interesting personal story. Obviously, on this podcast, I'm going to try and talk more about your Amazon business. However, your personal story is a big part of that. So can you just walk us through a little bit about yourself and your personal background, where you're from, where you currently live, all that sort of general stuff?
So I was born in the UK, from the UK. Was previously sort of coming from the corporate world. I spent, I think, about 12, 13 years in the corporate world. Mm-hmm. So learned a hell of a lot, but also got really fed up of it as well. I think I felt restrained. I remember having meetings, those typical sort of boardroom meetings, and feeling like sometimes as a female I wasn't really heard, and also always having to follow the line of the KPIs that were like trying to hit. And it just felt like it was kind of, I always had that entrepreneurial spark, I think. Mm-hmm. And even though the corporate world was good, I had some good bonuses, did the kind of rep on the road kind of job in the pharmaceutical industry, headed up the Viagra brand.
Yes.
Which was my claim to fame. I used to say, I used to say that Viagra used to be my baby, and now Amazon is. Because I remember winning rep of the year. That was my claim to fame, and getting a football signed by Pele, the famous footballer, because he was heading up he was doing a lot of the marketing at the time. So I've still got that. It looks like Peter though, written on it, smudged. But I won it anyway.
It's funny. We've actually got quite a lot of things in common. I actually studied pharmacy way back.
Oh, okay.
Way back, before Viagra was a thing.
Yeah. I did
and one of the reasons I didn't continue was because I sort of felt that my jobs sort of were limited to either research or being a rep, and I really didn't want to do either of those two things. So I ended up, one of the many reasons I didn't end up becoming a pharmacist in the end, but I did study it for a while.
I wanted to go. I wanted to do all the research in the labs, but it just wasn't for me.
No.
I think I just needed to be around people, so that's why I moved in the pharmaceutical industry. It was like the difference in salary, I remember at the time, was so much bigger, and they had bonuses, and you got a company car and all. And I was out and about meeting people.
That's the thing when it's sales, isn't it? When you're in sales, that's where the money is, in respective of what particular industry, right?
Exactly. And I learned a hell of a lot. I think the corporate world has, you get structure, don't you? And there's processes and structure. There's a lot of self-development. There's a lot of motivation. We had like some of the big conferences, probably not so singing and dancing like the US guys do it, but there were a lot of, I remember in the early days, some really flash locations, like, I remember going to Barbados, Toronto.
Nice.
And then it became really restricted, and it was like only in the UK.
Yeah.
There was a lot more kind of legal guidelines came in, but in the early days there was some good fun, that happened. And I think because I was young, straight out of university, I was like, really.
Oh, what a great life.
To build up the corporate ladder. And it was when I became a mum that it really hit me that I suppose after they say, don't they? I think I remember reading an article actually a few years ago about how 7 years in an industry or in a same job, you start getting bored of it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get promoted at the same time. I think I went off on maternity leave, but I did like a year doing a manager's role. And then when I went back, I actually decided I wanted to go part-time. This is when I was on maternity leave that I was looking at other opportunities, and I started thinking, balancing that time versus money aspect. Yep. And I knew that by going part-time, I was literally saying, right, no promotion in the corporate ladder, and that's when I started to look at other opportunities, really.
Well, as you know, as my dear departed father always used to say, we live through life, and we're all prostitutes. Where
Yeah,
when you're working for someone else, you're selling your time for money.
exactly.
And
And it became that the flash cars were boring. I know
yeah,
that sounds ridiculous because a lot of my friends at the time were quite surprised that I wanted to leave the industry.
mm,
They saw me as always having a new car and,
mm,
just like, I suppose being a rep, it's not 9 to 5 and things like
yeah,
that. So we used to like have Friday afternoons where we were doing admin.
yeah.
um,
Admin at the local pub, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But I was just like, going to like a lot of the European locations or London. I think I just got fed up of it and just felt that there was more to me. My dad had always run his own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for things online.
Right.
I kind of bought into this laptop lifestyle, I
Yep.
suppose, and thought, I
Oh,
don't
did
want.
you see something with the Lambo? So
I
just
did, I
heading
did.
on to my next question. So, how long have you been selling on Amazon? Like,
So
when did you first start?
I was made redundant in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
2000, it was at the end of 2011. So 2012, I spent a lot of time doing lots of different things,
Right.
being scammed. I was one of those. Looking for biz op type things that
Yep.
just weren't fitting,
Lots of
Um,
shiny
did
objects. Mm.
did a lot of skilling up though, invested in myself, and
So tell me what you tried. Share some of the things that
so
you tried to do.
so the first thing I did was I tried to do affiliate marketing, but at the time I'd written this book.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't tell many people this because I think I'm a bit embarrassed about this book.
Oh, go
I
on.
look back, I look back and just laugh at it. Really, it was just about running a business, being a mum. But it was just, I was like, I shared my 7 steps. I remember it took me blooming ages to write this goddamn thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I was going to get it was like a bestseller. When really,
Bestseller, yeah.
it was like an ebook. And now you could get someone like a VA to
Yeah.
write it so
You
quick.
could
I'd
probably
spent
buy
all this
private label
time.
rights to something. You could get a PLR for it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
But I was lit. I'd got this book, and I was thinking, right, my background sales, I could help other business owners that were mums
Mhm.
increase the sales, and it was kind of a bit like, multi-level marketing type businesses. I
Yeah.
thought maybe some of those types of mums don't know how to sell
How to run
properly, and I could help
businesses.
them do
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also doing affiliate marketing to learn digital marketing, so
Mm-hmm.
online strategies. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, I may as well do some affiliate marketing on the way, but that didn't really work out. I was spending a lot on, it was very biz oppy, kind of
Yep.
like you say, Lamborghini type things.
Mm-hmm.
And it never really felt aligned with
Yep.
what I was doing. But I was at the same time as me doing that affiliate marketing, I didn't really believe in the products, but
Yep.
I was learning like how to create landing pages, how
Mm-hmm.
to do Facebook marketing, how to build like an authority site and things
Yep.
like that, which was all really good learning. And then I kind of just realized that my thing was Facebook marketing.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And I realized that these mums or mumpreneurs, as I kind of laugh at now that I've positioned myself at, because now I think I'm an entrepreneur. Why did I put myself as a mumpreneur?
Yeah, exactly.
You learn by doing things.
Yeah.
I realized that, businesses like Forever Living, Avon, Amway, all those types of businesses, they haven't really, it takes them a long time to earn a significant income because
Yeah.
it's usually someone far up their
Far up the chain. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
is, and they haven't got the resources to then invest in someone to help them with sales. I was
mm-hmm.
thinking naively that I could coach them and help
Mm-hmm.
them with sales. So I realized that Facebook was becoming really my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then gradually moved into actually offering them Facebook marketing. And that was when suddenly I started to make a bit of headway
Right.
because
So
people
you
could
niche
see,
down, right?
yeah, and it
Mm-hmm.
was clear what I was doing and why really. And then I kind of moved into helping offline businesses, and I moved out of this female mumpreneur thing, and was helping businesses like, I remember helping a couple of restaurants. I remember helping a chiropractor, just offline businesses that knew nothing about online and how to get leads.
Yep.
So it was like, I can manage your Facebook ads. It was when fan pages were all the thing.
Yes. Yep.
And also then I did a little program where people could do it live or watch it. I did a few live, and then I also sold it as a recorded program as well. And it was all around doing stuff for free on Facebook through your fan page, and then also doing paid advertising. So I managed people's Facebook, but I also ran a program as well.
Right.
And then I just stumbled across Amazon.
That was going to be my next question. So did you see did you see a training course, or what happened?
It was Amazing Selling Machine.
Which one did you do?
It was ASM 1 or 2. It was one of the
Oh, okay.
first
Wow, you
few.
got in
One of the,
early. You know,
yeah, one of the
I
early ones.
saw ASM1, but didn't buy it until ASM5. Can you believe it?
We bought, basically there's 4 of us that bought it together, which I
Yeah.
suppose you shouldn't really do. We had one, well, we'd done it, we all shared it, and we had one login.
Yeah.
And we also had like we created a Facebook page to log into it. And it was because there was a 4 of us that masterminded online. One guy was really good at YouTube ads, one guy was really good at email marketing and blogging, and then I was doing Facebook. So we used to share a lot of things. And we'd kind of, all of us had bought programs that, that were kind of a little bit biz-oppy affiliate marketing that hadn't really made much headway. So we were actually just learning by doing. And then it was me that I put it to them.
So
I said,
so when you bought the training, having sort of come out of seeing a lot of different shiny objects in businesses, what attracted you to Amazon? Because that's quite different to a lot of the offers out there. What attracted you and what did you hope to accomplish?
I think because I'd learned all this digital marketing, I knew about marketing then. So my background was sales. I'd learned about marketing. I was being quite successful with Facebook. And I think I'd always been put off physical product businesses. I remember somebody trying to get me into eBay, and it just didn't excite me because I thought, you're going to be very time poor unless you've got a warehouse and you've got staff. And I'd bought into this laptop lifestyle. So I'd seen this webinar, just stumbled across it. It must have been ASM, must have been.
Well, and back then, that's all there was, really. Now there's like a trillion of them, but yes.
Exactly. And I'd seen this webinar, and I remember sharing the replay with the other guys. Because what we did was we did the program together, but we also did a product together. So we were one business. It wasn't that we were all doing our own thing. And I put it to them, and what gave me the light bulb moment was fulfillment by Amazon.
The FBA, for me too.
I thought if I could build an Amazon business where all that sort of messy, but the fulfillment part is taken care of, then there could be an opportunity here.
You just do the marketing, right?
Yeah. And we decided as a group to go into supplements, which when you look back now, like it's really challenging supplements, but then it wasn't so much. So that was like end of 2012, 2013. I've been doing stuff online for about a year, and I'd only just started making headway through my Facebook market. I'd learned all this stuff, learned a lot of skills, invested, sort of made quite a lot of mistakes. And then stumbled across Amazon and put it to them, and we decided to do this supplement brand, the 3 of us together.
So did you sell in the UK or the US? Where did you launch?
US. Actually started in the US. I think probably because Amazing Selling Machine is based in the US.
Based US,
and it was a US supplier for the manufacturer, so it was really quick as well, because there was no importing or shipping time to consider. Did a prenatal vitamin, which probably I think now like the liability on that for my first product quite high.
And so 8 years on, do you still have that supplements brand?
No, I basically sold that in I think it was like 2014.
Okay, so you had it for a couple of years and moved on.
It just I was spending a lot of time, because what happened was I realized that the other guys weren't really interested in the supplement brand, so I ended up buying them out and moving their transfer. I've actually learned how to transfer an Amazon account to another business.
Beautiful.
Which is always good to know. And because it was blatantly obvious that I'd brought them the opportunity, but it was me really leading it and doing it, and they weren't that really interested.
Right.
So I then ran with that, and we had four different supplements that we'd built. But I realized I was spending a lot on Amazon PPC as it got more competitive. So I just learned from that, and then started doing other products in the beauty category. I've done tech gadgets sort of really just for like 3 to 6 months around Christmas time. And I focus on my bamboo brand that I'm building long term, and building an e-commerce store as well for now. So done different categories, done home and kitchen as well, and a few pet products, because I've done different joint ventures with people where I had a joint venture with a guy who was really good on eBay, and we'd import products together. I'd sell on Amazon, he'd sell on eBay. And he had a lot of contacts, having imported from China for 15 years. So then he learned a lot from me from Amazon, and I learned a lot from him as regards to importing. So it's quite a good little joint venture. So yeah, I kind of think that Yeah, it's 8 years, but
how
8
many
years.
products do you sort of have at any given time? So do you like cycle through? Are you sort of more of an opportunity type of seller, or you said you're
So I
building?
have like certain brands that are like all year round, and then I
Mhm,
have products that I tend to do more like maybe seasonal, or
mhm.
I have done kind of other people's brands as well if I spot an opportunity, but those are usually faddy type products that are only going to be around 3 to 6 months, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Did you get in on the fidget spinner thing?
I didn't actually. I was going to do fidget spinners, and I remember just letting that one. I
Oh
was going
God,
to, and I
you had to be
didn't.
so fast on that one. If you didn't get in and get out, I remember
I know.
I was in China right at the height of it, and there was a guy on a bus in on the way to Canton Fair, and it was sort of just like, shh, do you want to buy some fidget spinners? I've got a contact in the factory.
Funny. I know.
Oh,
No, I didn't. I didn't. But I knew a lot of people that were at the time.
yeah.
I did a lip plumper that was like a faddy type product that was,
Mhm.
for women who want to inject the lips. But it was a lot of teenage girls that were buying it.
Oh God,
But that
yeah.
was a real faddy type product that
Mm.
thought was going to last for about 3 months, but actually ended up being a bit longer.
Mhm.
But I knew it wasn't going to be any long-term thing.
Right.
It's things like the bamboo brand that I'm building with lots of different bamboo products.
Yeah.
And actually more recently looking at Etsy as well for
Mhm.
those types of products, because I think Etsy has got an opportunity around, it's perceived as for homemade, handmade products.
Mm.
But if you've got like a particular kind of like
Design.
vegan or
Yeah.
earthy niche, if you theme,
Yeah.
and you can use fulfillment, all the fulfillment centers to do it. So I'm a bit like open-minded. It's not
Yeah.
Amazon is my thing, but I think brand specific, you're looking at which marketplaces and how you're going to
Yeah.
promote
Oh.
those products. So I don't have hundreds of SKUs.
Mhm.
Currently, I think I've got 16.
Mhm.
But I'm not. I kind of want to launch globally rather than just in the UK. Like I know a lot of people that just focus on the UK,
Yeah.
whereas I sell across Europe, the US, um, Australia, and Singapore, my new
Mhm.
marketplaces.
Mhm.
And I just think Amazon is growing like that. That actually
Yeah.
do all the research for a product.
Yeah, you
For
may as
me,
well
it's easier
take
to
advantage of it globally, right?
globally, because that's how it's FBA set up.
Mm.
So you don't. I see it as you don't need. I often question. I could just not do any coaching, just launch more and more
Yeah.
brands, because I'm constantly got ideas of brands, and I've got,
Mhm.
like we talked about, VAs that help me with things.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be
Um,
my next question. Do you have a team of people, or are you doing this all on your own?
so I've got 3 VAs,
Mhm.
and actually thinking about possibly launching a 4th, because I've been thinking about. I get a lot of people who ask me for done for you services,
Right.
or consultancy work, things like that,
Mm.
and I haven't really got the time. And I
Yep.
was thinking recently, well, I could actually do people's listings for them and get a VA to do that for me,
Mhm.
and I would then look over the
Look over them.
listing
Yep. Mhm.
rather than doing all the kind of keyword research. Just check that
Yep.
it
Yep.
is fine, obviously, before you
Mm.
kind of, you've got to do that when you're working with VAs. So
Yeah. Oh,
I
yes.
have been thinking. I just get a lot of people asking me stuff, and I'm saying no, 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 don't do
Mm.
that. I refer
Yeah.
them to other people. I just
Yeah,
thought, well,
and
actually, there's an
that's what I
opportunity.
do too. Generally, is like I like to have like a Rolodex of people that I refer to who are specialists in certain areas.
Exactly.
Mhm. So, what are the like in the 8 years that you've been in the business, and obviously, cycling through different types of products? Do you have like major lessons that you would impart to people? What have you learned to date?
I've learned that focus on building brands,
Hmm.
because, like I say, I've done other people's brands, but I know that that's kind of like a cash thing,
Yeah.
that I'm doing for a few months.
Yeah.
But building private label brands, but my thing is building premium brands,
Hmm.
because I think Amazon's geared up for that. eBay's your bargain basement, and
Yes.
Amazon customers, Prime membership is a big thing for Amazon. So building premium brands that usually I'm the most expensive
Yes.
seller in that particular
Yeah, darling,
niche or
you're
whatever.
you're you're preaching to the choir here. I'm very much along the same.
Yeah. So that, I think that's what I've learned from doing kind of, maybe, the days have got, when we first launched, probably all the same, is that you could be very similar to the competition. Now we've got to really work out what
Yeah,
our USP is.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
Um,
That unique selling proposition is like key. So, do you have accomplishments that you're most proud of, or do you have like a best day ever in sales? Like what? You throw some numbers at me.
I think Yeah, I mean, I did the hoverboards, you know, the segways.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Before they all got banned. Okay.
Exactly. And I sold, I think it was 350 Black Friday weekend. And they were being sold for £300. Because I remember, so what would that be? I know it was a hell of a lot of cash that weekend. It was
Mm,
like the biggest weekend I'd ever had. I think it was like
wow. So is it
nearly,
300 by
nearly
300? What's that?
yeah, I think it was like nearly like it was just massive numbers that weekend.
90,000. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
but
That's not bad.
Amazon kept three-quarters of it. It took me, I think, about
Oh, really? Well,
eight
how
months,
come?
eight
For
eight months,
liability or reasons or
8 months to get that money.
how
So I
come?
saw it all there, and I was so excited like this. And then it took me because what happened was they're all blowing up, weren't they?
Right. Yep.
They were all exploding.
God.
Ours had been tested through because that was a joint venture I'd done with the guy that I was mentioning on eBay.
Mm,
So it was funny. We used to do little competitions, you see, and you know,
mm.
there's that male female kind of
Yep.
ego competitive side. So he used to sell on eBay, I used to sell on Amazon, and I completely smashed him with numbers on
Nice.
Amazon.
Nice.
And anyway, I remember I was actually hijacking people that whole weekend as well,
Oh dear.
uh, to other unbranded products that were
Yep.
around. Because we had a brand that wasn't our brand that we were selling. So
Right.
that that taught me a lot about making sure that you focus on brands,
Brands. Yep.
because
Okay.
we were a Chinese brand. Do you know what I mean? We
Yep.
hadn't.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
a Christmas product that we were doing. It was a
Yeah. So
fun
you
product.
didn't do the whole private label thing. It was basically
Not
just a
that far.
slightly more sophisticated drop ship, right?
Yeah, and so the reason why they restricted them is because there was all this safety thing around them.
Of
Ours had
course.
been checked by trading standards. We had all the certificate. Amazon was sending out emails to our customers saying, "Please dispose of the item,
Oh
and
God.
we will refund you." And this item was like £130 a
Yeah.
unit.
Wow.
Um, so we were then ringing up people on Amazon saying, "No, we'll send it back if you don't want it." You
Yeah.
know, because we were like, "Don't dispose of
Oh,
it."
dispose of it. Yeah,
So
that's it.
we lost a few because
Mhm.
people were just keeping them.
Yeah.
But that taught me a massive lesson. It was a massive lesson on hitting a really high seasonal product, because they were
Mhm.
all the rage. That was when they were
Yep.
first launched.
Yep.
So showed me how much you can actually make on a Black
Yep.
Friday weekend, but
Yep.
also taught me about having trademarks, having brands, having
Mhm.
safety, having liability for electrical items, all of that kind of learning. And also battling with Amazon with them trying to restrict my account because I went over the return percentage when I
Of
told all of
course,
my
yes.
customers to return, you know. So nearly lost my account with all that, managed to save it. Just the learnings from all of that, you know,
Yeah,
the
wow.
positive and the lows really of it. And now now I trademark all the products that I'm
Yep,
gonna, the brands that I'm doing. So you just learn, don't you,
you
along the
do,
way.
absolutely.
And
So have you had mentors or coaches along the way? And if you have they
um,
helped you?
So I did the Amazing Selling Machine.
Mhm.
There was, who was it? There was somebody that was affiliated to Amazing Selling Machine that I kind of got his mastermind program
Oh, was
from.
it Ben Cummings?
I think he was a partner of Ben Cummins, because I had a lot of Ben Cummins trainings. Yeah,
Right.
what was his name now? But yeah, I had all Ben Cummins kind of stuff and did a
Hmm.
bit of mastermind there,
Hmm.
and then was part of a coaching group here. Went to Danny McMillan's
Yep.
networking events in London
Hmm.
when he was there, when he was doing
Yep.
his networking, and then just started getting into kind of little networking meetups and
Yep.
just finding people who were willing to share, you know, just like masterminding with different
That's right.
people.
Yeah.
I think the community that we're all part of, you know, there's some really good people out there in
Oh,
different groups
awesome.
that you can learn from, and podcasts now. So,
Yes.
so haven't so much recently had like a coach, but
Hmm.
part of all of that you learn, you know, learn from other people. And more, I kind of think, even though I teach, there's still so much that I've got to
Oh,
learn.
and that's the thing is, by teaching we learn, don't we? It's like I did a little video the other day of a tool within Helium 10 that's been around for a couple of months, but I'd never actually clicked through it, and it was like, oh, this is actually an awesome tool. So I figured it
Yeah.
out and then created a video to show other people because, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. There is just so much available to people now that you
Yeah.
could actually, you know, learn a lot from even Amazon's university, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
And also following podcasts and following
Yep.
groups, you know. I think
Absolutely.
the thing with me coaching, the biggest thing that people buy my program for is the weekly support,
The
because
support,
there is
yes.
all the information you can get free. You know, you could go to Udemy, you could go to
Oh,
YouTube, you
look,
could
but
follow
if
podcasts.
you don't
But
do it, nothing's going to get done, right?
yeah, and it's just like keeping you on track and signposts. I think
Mm.
a lot of it is accountability that I do for
Yep.
people when
Yep.
they're, you know, they've got a job at the same time they're trying to build something, and just signposting people a lot of the time. And I just teach what I've learned, and
Yeah.
and you know, and I bring other people in of stuff that I'm
And
not so great at.
that's what we all do.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what tools do you have, sort of like go-to software tools that you use in your business on a
So
regular basis?
I've always used Jungle Scout, and that's just because I was like probably, you know,
Yep.
one of the original people
Yep.
that bought Jungle Scout, and it's kind
Yep.
of what you used to. But
Hmm.
I have started using Helium 10,
Yep.
but because I think it's great for keywords. And
Yep.
also I was looking at, was it who recently was sharing this? It was some, I don't know who it was. It was somebody I was following on KinWords, which is a free tool to use.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that. How do you
Um,
spell what's that called?
KIN and
Yep.
then words.
Words. Okay, I'll check that
Um,
one out. Hmm.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. I don't
Oh,
know if it was. I don't know if it was
oh,
Liran.
maybe Liran. Okay. Yep.
I'm trying to think who shared it now. You know, there's so many people that you
I know,
follow.
right?
Um, and so I was looking at that because, like, the Australian market, obviously, some of these tools don't work. So
Yeah,
I've
well,
used
I
Keep.
think Helium 10 is working on something for Australia. Been having
Yeah,
conversations with them recently.
I've had Zonguru for the free trial,
Yeah,
and that was kind of more wider for marketplaces. But
yeah,
Keywords Everywhere is a good one
yeah.
for people
Okay,
who are just getting started, because it's just $10 and you get 1,000 searches. So it's a bit like, you know, merchant words, where you get like
okay, yeah.
the same amount of
Okay,
keyword research. But obviously Jungle Scout and Helium 10, it's not just keywords,
yeah.
it's
They've
it's a
got
whole
full
wealth of
service. I mean,
software.
he, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, now is a big one for everybody. So new and old to the business, launching and ranking.
Yeah.
What have you recently done that you have found that works in terms of either launching or ranking your products for keywords? What's your go-to?
So I think the whole thing with launching is making sure that you're getting the sales.
Yeah.
So it's driving those sales. And initially I would use certain tools to get more reviews and
Hmm.
launch them out. So there's a lot of basically I've got a list that I've developed for my bamboo niche of people that are on an email list
Right.
that
So you've
have
got your
kind of,
own list now, yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
But I think even sort of Amazon have a few different kind of tools within the Vine service, and
And
I
they've got
always
their
tend to
early
look.
reviewer program. Yeah.
Exactly. I
Hmm.
have used like viral launch and things like that, but
Yeah.
I've never really had a huge success from it. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people now like opting out of those kind of things,
Yeah.
or
Well,
don't
those
end
sort
up.
of bulk sort of launch services are not nearly as effective anymore as they used to
No.
be. Yeah. I
So
used to use them. I haven't for a couple of years now. Yeah.
I think if people focus on like building a particular niche and building a brand with several products within that
Hmm.
like particular brand, then you can build your own email list. That's why I was really interested in your chatbot stuff,
Yep.
because obviously we know that email marketing is kind of going down a little bit with open rates and things like
Mm.
that, whereas chatbots, you know, is the way forward with WhatsApp and Messenger.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
definitely think if you've got like a bit of a loyal following
Mm.
and launching products at a lower price, or having voucher codes and doing Amazon advertising,
Hmm.
um, all I focus on in that first week is getting sales,
Yep.
and then really like a handful of reviews in that period to then turn my Amazon PPC on. But I'll
Mhm.
launch at a lower price and then increase slightly.
Okay.
In
Right. So that's your
the first
strategy
few
is to
weeks.
launch it lower
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
increase up. Okay.
yeah. So it's kind of like not pre-launch, but the first launch
Yep.
phase. You know, of being a lower price.
Hmm.
Um,
Nice.
but I just think I was in the days of you used to give away, you know,
Oh yeah, those giveaway days. Yeah.
100 units for $1 each and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's just there's all these different softwares that I've learned that have just never been that particularly great. I think just doing it like you building like a business.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget that we're actually building a business. There isn't quick wins for stuff, is there? You're building a brand, you're building a business, you're building a following, you're providing that niche with solutions to a problem at the end of the day.
Yep. Okay. So, and we talked about this briefly earlier. Do you sell on other platforms, like Shopify, eBay, Walmart is the big one at the moment?
Yeah, Shopify, Walmart. I've listened to people selling. I haven't done myself. I've heard that it's very. People say, you know, I think Amazon's a different language. Walmart is just
a whole other one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose I'm just sitting back and listening to the success and deciding.
Okay.
I tend to just sell on Amazon and then go global and then build e-commerce stores either through Shopify or WooCommerce.
Right.
So,
and so what
I haven't sold on
of your
eBay.
income is coming sort of out of those sort of Shopify or WooCommerce stores? Are you still mostly?
I would say it's like 78% Amazon.
Right.
So it's slowly building for my e-commerce store. And this is why, because I do a bamboo product like brand, I was thinking that Etsy could be a good option.
Yeah, nice.
I'm really interested in Etsy right now, just for different themed products. Because I always just assumed that Etsy was around, you know,
handmade stuff,
handmade products. But it's not. I think if you're in that niche of bamboo or vegan, or you've got a particular quirky niche, like when we were talking about adult toys and things like that, if you've got a little bit of a quirky thing, you could do pretty well on Etsy. And I do like bamboo glasses, some really unusual, really high quality ones. So I think they're quite quirky sometimes, so I was thinking that actually Etsy could be a good option. And that's something that I've been doing a lot of research on recently.
So where do you tend to source? Because there's sort of like a whole lot going around global sourcing at the moment with, travel restrictions and plane flights and tariffs.
So we have had challenges with especially shipping delays, with it mainly being sea freight. So China has always been like my number one sourcing destination, really. Obviously in the early days I was sourcing from the US
if you're doing supplements, of course.
But more recently I've been looking at India and ordered my first product from India. I was meant to be going on Megla's trip, actually. I've done a lot of I've organized trips myself with students to China, and just was really curious about India and thought the best way to really find out is go there yourself, and Megla seems to have a trip sussed out,
so
it was meant to go in April.
Of course nothing's happening now for a while.
No, it's such a shame, because it was meant to go in April, then it was we were going to go October, and that's not going to happen now, so it's going to be likely next year. I do really want to go as soon as the numbers come down and we can get there. I'll be there.
Well, it looks like India is on its way up still, so I'm guessing it probably won't be until October next year if you're lucky.
I know, exactly.
But it's been a slower burn over there, so to speak.
What I'm finding though is there's a lot of because I think China is obviously good for electrical items. You're never gonna beat China for things like that, and India's a few years behind China, but for things like cotton and eco-friendly products, there's some really lovely, unusual products. There's a product I've found that's quite a bit different. And what I loved is that the factory is all run from solar power. So nice. I'm going to share that on my website.
Of course, from a branding point of view.
You can't do that much on Amazon, a little bit, but not, the story part of it will be all on my website. But I think there's some really good opportunities.
Well, if you've got enhanced brand content, you can
put it all in there.
Put it all in there, of course.
Yeah. But so India is like on my radar. So I've ordered my first product. So I'm like,
oh, nice.
But it's probably taken me longer because of the situation out there.
Of course, exactly.
And, but so I have been interested in like Vietnam and Bali as well, but not sourced anything from there. But I definitely think the COVID situation is interesting. I met Megla at the White Label Expo. We're both speaking there last year in London,
right?
And it was obviously before the whole COVID thing happened. That's why I was planning to go there in April. And I think the whole COVID situation accentuated the fact that I was already thinking I need to have a second sourcing destination. And now I think, you're going to have like China plus one, whether that be from your own country, domestic product, suppliers, or internationally, really. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay. And so, looking back over the last 8 years, how would you say your life has changed since you've started selling on Amazon?
I think it's definitely given me a lot more freedom, and I get really proud of the brands. Obviously, learning from doing kind of faddy products and non-branded products or other
Hmm.
people's brands, or getting nearly thrown off Amazon for doing
Yeah.
hoverboards, you learn what you should be doing and what you not,
Hmm.
what you shouldn't be doing, type of thing.
Hmm.
And it's definitely given me like the freedom and flexibility, and just I really, yes, there are products that I've done for income, but I
Hmm.
tend to spend more time on the products that is more purposeful. Like I'm saying, them like the bamboo niche, that products and brands that I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think it's just given me that freedom. I think it's taken me longer, and that was probably because of all the crap that I went through in my ex-husband.
Hmm.
Because I think sometimes people think, oh, you've been selling for 8 years, but there was a period of time that I was kind of struggling, not really growing and moving forward. And so
Life
that's
gets in
probably
the way,
delayed
right?
me. Yeah, that probably delayed me a little bit.
Hmm.
But it's great now in this whole lockdown situation. I've been sat here feeling so, so grateful that I
Mm.
took that step of being made redundant from the corporate world and just building a business on Amazon, as well as, living on my own and not having a husband driving me insane that I'm locked down with as well. I've reflected on both of those things. That isn't it great that actually the boys have not been at school. Yes, I've had the challenge of homeschooling, but now I've got the income that I can pay for tutoring if need be.
Yeah.
It's been more about keeping all of our mental health
Yeah.
high,
Yeah. Yeah.
or going for walks in nature and just getting out of the house and things like that. But
Nice.
looking at, if I was still in the pharmaceutical industry and if I was still in that toxic marriage I was in, my life would be completely different right now. So I
Yeah.
could probably be really stressed out thinking, is my job actually going to, because going
Mhm.
out to doctors face to face, I'm sure they
Oh,
won't be able
oh,
to do
right
that.
now, goodness knows. Yeah.
And also, just have, yeah, it's just been, I've literally the last few months sat feeling massively grateful, and
Mm.
I'm on a massive empowering women tip. It's funny, I've gone in one big circle because I started off focusing on women and mums, and
Yes.
now I've come full circle wanting to help women again.
Yeah.
Just because I suppose I'm a woman and I've done it, I'm a single parent. And that's kind of, I feel that people will be able to relate to my journey more. Um,
Absolutely. Well, you're an absolute inspiration. So, if you
but
had one piece of advice, just one, for somebody who's right in the early stage of starting their Amazon or e-commerce journey, what would your advice be?
I'd say don't, you know how people line up, that anybody that's building a business online gets all the website perfect, spends all this time on their logo, all this time on their name, the domain name, all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. You learn so much from doing. So just pick a product, order a small volume, and learn the steps on Amazon. Amazon is like learning a different language sometimes because
Mhm.
it's automated.
Yeah.
So just do, and don't worry too much. You're going to make mistakes. It took me 8 months to design my first product. And
Yeah.
I see people over analyzing that step when you learn so much by doing. Yes, there's all these tools,
Mhm.
but you can't get everything perfectly. So
Yeah.
just do and you learn,
Yeah.
because
So it's sort of like paralysis by analysis, right?
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool.
And
Well,
just
mhm.
see your first product as, if you order just a small volume of units, if you don't make any, if you lose that money, or you break even, you've learned a hell of a lot. And then if you do, get into profit, then that's a bonus. If you have that mindset, rather than, I see people lining everything up, getting all their brands trademarked, and by the
Mm.
time they launch, the market's changed.
Changed. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and they've
Yes.
just
What is
not
it?
got going.
Money loves speed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or they miss out completely, and then something happens with their work and they don't end up actually launching. I've seen
Yeah.
people do that as well.
Oh, it's a
So
lot of that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's been absolutely awesome. Thank you. And so we'll have all your contact information and how people can find you in the show notes to this
yeah,
episode.
perfect.
So, what's moving forward? What are your plans for the next sort of 12, 18 months in your business?
So I've always coached people and always had that balance of time, because I don't want to be doing too much coaching and then neglect my own Amazon
Mm.
business.
Hmm.
And so I've done things where I've done workshops one-to-one, and now I've just got like a simple program that I do. And I've been mainly focused on women. And that's
Yep.
not to say that men, I've coached a lot of men over the years. I've just
Yep.
decided to niche down in that because
Yep.
I always share the story and journey I've been
Hmm.
through. And I think women can relate to it.
Hmm.
I've also got my own podcast, which I
Yes.
interviewed yourself recently.
Yes. So plug away. What's the name of your podcast?
So my podcast is Your Freedom Podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and it's around basically, it's not, say, I've interviewed quite a few sellers on Amazon, but it's more around your journey of creating freedom in your life around the 3 pillars of love, money, and mind.
Right. So it's not exclusively for Amazon people, but it's
it's
generally
more,
perfect. And I
it's more
had
just
fun chatting to you the
inspiring.
other day about that.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's more just sharing people's stories
Yeah.
of like challenges, adversities, success along the way,
Mhm.
just so it can inspire others. You know, I would have
Beautiful.
loved to have listened to those kind of stories before I came online.
Yeah.
I think it just inspires people to make a difference and, you know, build a business around the family or whatever. So
Beautiful. And of course, we'll link to that as well in the show notes to hear.
yeah.
So thank you so much for staying up late to record.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
It's been lots of fun. Thanks, Anna. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.